Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pranjal. I am from marketing team from Pune. So once again, I welcome you everyone for the today's webinar. The title for our webinar is Elevate Designs and Styling with Polyjet J8 series 3D printers from Stratasys. So this webinar will be presented by Mr. Ravi Kumar Patil, who is our National Manager in Technical Support for Rapid Prototyping. He sits in our Pune office, which is our head office. So Mr. Ravi Patil has over 25 years of rich work experience in this industry. He has acquired his Bachelor of Engineering with specialization in Mechanical Engineering from KLE Society's College of Engineering and Technology, Belcom. Over the last 2 decades, he has gained tremendous experience in various 3D printing technologies like FDM, PolyJet, metal, and etc. So he has attended deep knowledge about implications of 3D printing technologies in various industrial domains like automotive, metal, plastic, additive, and so on. So, Mr. Ravi Patil sir leads the Design Tech Systems Rapid Prototyping technical team, and he provides guidance and support to 200 plus 3D printing machine installations across India. So this was the brief introduction of Mr. Ravi Patil sir about this webinar tool. I request everyone to kindly use your headsets for the better audio quality, because there are a couple of videos which are we are going to run in this presentations. So for the better audio quality, I request everyone to kindly use your headsets. Also, there is an option of chat window where you can we can if you have any queries, any doubts, or if you want to ask anything to Ravi sir, you can either type your questions over there, or else at the end of the webinar we will be taking an one-to-one session, one-to-one discussions with Ravi sir. In that time I can unmute you, you can directly ask to Ravi sir as well. So without wasting much more time, I will hand it over to Ravi sir to take it further. And as of now, everybody will be on mute so that there will be a smooth flow of information from one side from Ravi sir itself. Ravi sir, over to you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Pranjal. Welcome everybody. We will start today's session, uh, Elevate Design and Styling. Before we go into this session, I will take some time in introducing about Design Tech and Stratasys. So who we are, and then we will go into the main course of the presentation. So basically, Design Tech is a more than 22 years plus old company. We are among the top three CAD/CAM PLM solutions providers in India. We have got multiple offices in India, some offices out of India. We have around 1,000 plus employees strength, and we have a huge customer database. We are located in Pune. Pune is our headquarters, and then plus offices all across India. If you look at the business verticals, we have typically three business verticals. So one is the sales, one is the engine service, and one is the CAD Academy. Myself, Pranjal, we come from the sales vertical of it. So that is where we are focused. So we are into solution selling. Our engine services typically have engineers deputed to our customer site, or they work in-house and develop customer products. And the third one is our CAD Academy, where we do training for individual as well as corporate basis. So that was a brief about Design Tech. Plus, we are associated with multiple leading names in the industries. We are associated, you can see PTC, Alter, Stratasys, and multiple, all the big names. So Design Tech is typically would be a one-stop solution for all the mechanical needs. Going from Design Tech to next is Stratasys. Now Stratasys is a global leader in additive manufacturing, or you can say 3D printers. So basically the journey of Stratasys started roughly 30 years ago in 1988. Scott Crumb, the founder of Stratasys, invented additive manufacturing, and from there was no looking back. So 1998 it started. 1994 the first FDM printer was launched. Typically, if you look at the highlights of Stratasys in 2012, Stratasys and Object Technologies, they merged. Object was based out in Israel. Stratasys was in USA, Minnesota. So these two companies merged, and then Stratasys was leading the market. Now, and with the merger of Object Technologies, we became far more bigger than any of the 3D printer manufacturers across. And then over a period, Stratasys has merged or tied up with software development companies like GrabCAD, and now recently they have tied up with multiple machine manufacturers like Origin and Neo and all those things. So it's one of the biggest company in additive manufacturing solutions. More than 3 decades. If you look at the install base of services, it's more than 150,000 machines installed, 30 plus awards, lot of patents pending, and Stratasys is a company which is always innovating, always inventing, and it's always on the move. And every time you see there is a new development, one material and after another material, they keep on doing a lot of R&D and D, and new materials are being introduced, new machines are introduced continuously. So that was a brief about Stratasys. Going ahead, today's webinar, Product Designer, is entirely today's webinar, Elevate Design and Styling, is very much focused on designers. So what or who is a designer? What's the role of a designer? Basically, there's a misconception out there that a designer is somebody who just designs an idea and then gives it to the management and then they take it forward. They do a lot of discussion and decisions, but it is not that. A designer plays a very important role in any organization. And a lot of you, I'm sure, are designers who work with your organizations, and you might or might not be aware about the entire role of your product design in your organization. So I'm just going to run a small video which shows you how designers work or what's actually the role of a designer in an organization and the responsibilities of a designer in an organization. I'm just going to run a small video for you. This is nothing related to additive manufacturing, but it is related to all the attendees who are out there today. So what is product design and a designer? So here's the video for that. I hope everybody is able to see and hear. Okay, so that was regarding product design and what are the roles and responsibilities of a designer. So designers not just play with an ideas, they work with materials, they work with textures, they work with colors, they take risks and they bring in new ideas which are suitable for the market. They try to provide solutions for existing problems in the market. So that is what designers do. So let us look at how 3D printing or additive manufacturing really helps the designers and what are the problems that designers are facing as of now. So if I talk to any designer and if I ask him that if you can tell me or stay in one line, what is your goal? Typically, this is an answer that I get that we or designer always says that we are always working towards a golden model that will get stakeholders approval. a very crisp and a short statement, but it covers everything. It covers an approval, it covers a golden model, that means something out of things, give a proper solution, and ultimately it has to get approved so that it gets launched into market. So this is a dream statement of any designer who does a lot of developments. But to do this, the designers currently have facing a lot of problems. And one of the foremost problems is a communication. Because when a designer is designing any idea, he has got a lot of things in his mind and he tries to put them in your CAD software or in his sketch, and then he tries to explain it to all the stakeholders. So in that case, there is always a communication gap, and that is something which hurts a designer. It delays the design cycle. So that is one problem with designers face. Second problem, because of this communication, as I said, the cycle time is long. And once the cycle is long, then the organization will start saying that design cycle is inefficient. It is costing us heavy money, time and money. Now that is something which is again directly related to the earlier problem of communication. Longer more the communication gaps, longer will be your design cycle. So this is a problem which designers are facing. Second, some designers are also using 3D printers. They use those 3D printers for a lot of developments. Today we have n number of 3D printers outside. But then most of them are using 3D printers with single material. The problem with this is the stakeholders will not have a very clear-cut idea as to what exactly the designer may or wish to communicate. He will be able to see a part, hold it in his part, but he will not feel entirely the texture or the fabric or the color, and then that could be a bit of a challenge for the stakeholder to give an approval. And last but not the least, outsourcing. Many people have been speaking to many organizations, they come up and say, we do outsourcing. Okay, when you are doing an outsourcing, then we have a challenge about your internal IT. People come up and say NDAs are signed and all those things. But trust me, whenever you see, even though if you say an NDA is signed, it is very difficult for an organization to maintain that and hold it. So could be a chance of possible leak, and if your IP goes out in the market, your competition may come out with that product before even you launch that product. So you might lose your entire business scenario. So that's one of the challenges what designers are facing. But take a scenario that with these challenges and all those things, the current challenges, what if a designer can create a model, better finished product, a prototype that can be seen, felt, held together. So if your designer is able to just do it rather than just putting it in a sketch or using a CAD software, he's able to create an entire model and then give it to the stakeholder. Will it benefit the stakeholder or will it benefit making decision faster? A designer may be able to cut modeling time, explore color and textures earlier in iteration form and CMM, color, that is color, material and fabric. So if your designer is able to achieve all these things, then definitely it will really help a designer in communicating his ideas with the stakeholders. Uh, if a designer is capable of having a 3D printer as a versatile tool in his office just besides his table, printing all those things, all those components for you, rather than having a big workshop where he has to print a lot of things and do a lot of post processing and painting and all those things. This will really help a designer to do it. And then lastly, your IP or your ideas will be kept in-house. You don't have to outsource them. It will be kept in-house for you to use it. So if all these things are possible, and they are possible, I will tell you, they are possible with Stratasys 3D printers. So that is where we introduce the Stratasys J series 3D printers, a design realism that meets your needs. So this is a J series printer that is used, or customer use this printer to make all this design development. So I'm just going to run a video which about J series, which will show you the capabilities of J series systems for you. So here's the video. So that was the J series printers from Stratasys, which can do multiple colors. So a designer can share his idea, develop nice products, see the colors, see the textures, whatever color you want, you can just choose the colors and use it. And by the way, these are Pantone validated machines. So just to give you a brief, Pantone is basically a global color language, and once a color code is defined, let's say for an example, a 203C color, so that 203C globally is same. Otherwise, without a Pantone color shade, it is very difficult to understand what color a person is talking about. To give you an example, if I look out of the window and I see the sky as blue, for me it is blue color. But for somebody else, if they look out, it could be light blue or it could be dark blue. There could be multiple variations. So color is always depending upon a person. So how he looks at it. So that's the reason the Pantone color shades were developed, and Pantone colors are globally the same. And these printers can print your part in Pantone colors. So no more ambiguity with those colors. So these were the J series printers, and basically these printers are using PolyJet as a technology. So, as I said, we spoke about designers and their problems and what they are able to do it with the J series printer. Now, once that is done. So, how does the J series printer works? So, basically, this works on a PolyJet technology. So, what happens in a PolyJet technology is we have photopolymer resins, and these resins are jetted out through the nozzles onto a table. We have UV lamps which cure the resin, and once the resin is cured, the table goes one layer down, and then exactly the same process follows. We we also have a roller built in inside the head. So this roller, the purpose of this roller is to flatten the liquid drops. So whenever a liquid is jetted out, the drop is in oval shape. So the roller flattens it, and then the UV cure. So jetting, flattening, curing all happens simultaneously in one go. And after each layer is done, the Z table or the build platform moves down in the Z direction, and then exactly above that, the same procedure takes place. This technology works with, as I said, resins, photopolymer resins. We work with a slice of 16 microns, and we can go up to 30 microns. So all the finer details are easily captured using PolyJet technology. One of the best part about PolyJet technology is mixing of materials on the fly or on the go. So as I said, in PolyJet technology, I said earlier that we can get multiple colors, we can get Pantone colors. Now, how do we get it? So basically, all colors are made out of base five colors, that is cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and white. So we can have load all the five colors. Then we can also load a rubber-like material, transparent, and we can also load a rigid clear-like material. Now, as a user, let's say a user has done some gray shade and he just imports the file, and whatever shade he has applied to it, the software and the printer is smart enough to understand that, and then they will mix the colors accordingly and the part will be printed in that color. So here you can see this screen that a white material is being mixed with a rubber-like black material to give you different shades of gray. So one, if you are totally using the white, you get a white part, and then as you start using more of black, you start getting shades of gray. Similarly, below you have a rubber material which is mixed with a rigid black material to give you different shore hardnesses. So the more rigid material you add, the more shore hardnesses you get. So if you just use a rubber material, you will have somewhere around shore 30, and then as the machine starts adding more material, you start increasing your shore hardness. Now, when I say all this adding of materials and all these color combinations, the best part here is the user is not supposed to do anything. When he brings a model into the software, all he has to do is he goes to a particular point on the model and he right clicks it, and then he says, okay, he wants either a shore hardness or either a color, whatever he wants. He just says that he wants that at that point, and rest all the machine will do it for you. So polyjet technology from surfaces can mix multiple materials to give you a third material. So here this entire screen is showing mixing of only two materials. But as I said, with the J series, we can mix around 7 different materials. Especially for those 7, I will repeat again, would be like cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and white to give you any color you want. Then we load rubber-like material so that you can get rubber-like parts, and then mixing with rigid will give you multiple shore hardnesses. And also we can load a very transparent and a rigid clear part. So people who want to have transparent components so that they can look inside it can also get that component, and they can have, and also along with that they can make multiple colors can be mixed along with transparent to give you a lighter or a darker shade. So this is the best part about polyjet technology, and this is what gives an edge to all the designers. So this technology can make models that meet all your needs. So right from any stage, let's say you are working with your concept stage to your final design. So you can print your models simultaneously. Let's say you are working on a project A, which is in a project final stage, and project B could be in a mid-level stage, and project C could be in a concept stage. Now you can do is you can print all the 3 models: a concept stage model for project C, mid-range for B, and a final model for A simultaneously in one single build. You don't have to print separately. You can print it simultaneously, and the machine will print it for you. So the ability to print multiple materials on a single part, it can do that. It can print from concept to final design with uh, plastic rubber like material flexibility to an high fidelity model. So it can print everything. Some of the polyjet printers also come with voxel print capabilities for advanced users. Now, what is voxel? Voxel is a smallest cell in an additive manufacturing technology. It's the smallest pigment in an additive manufacturing technology. And people, advanced users who really want to have a voxel capability can use this to give a color to one single point. on a your part. So that way you can select multiple points and you can give them a different colors. Now voxels are typically seen in butterflies and creatures which are there. So if you look at a butterfly, when it is flying, it will have a different colors, but when it sits on a flower, it will have a different color. You will see a different color of a wing, and that is because of this voxel technology. So even that is available with the Stratasys and high-end 3D printers. So here you see entire segment right from concept to final design. So you can print your concept part with a draft gray material. You can print your detailed design part either in Vero Clear, Vero Black, Pure White, multiple materials. And you can print your final design with Vero Ultra Clear and CM Magenta Yellow. And all these things you can print simultaneously. It's not that you just print your concept, take out the part, and then go with your final design. No, you can print in one single printing platform all these things. So that's the best part of it. So everything can be done. As I said earlier, we can load 7 materials simultaneously. So it's not that you load white color, then print a white component, remove white material, and then load black and then print another black component. It is not that. Here we are loading all the 7 colors, 7 materials, and then we print everything simultaneously. Also, we print assemblies. The last image of the earbuds, what you're seeing with the cover open. Now this is an assembly which is printed. So PolyJet also uses support material, which is very soft in nature and it can be washed away easily. So once the part is printed, you just wash away the support material so that the entire top portion was able to slide back and forth. So this is not an assembled part, but it was printed as an assembly in the machine. So you can print assemblies. You just need to give enough clearance for the support material to go inside, and that it can be washed out. So what does this design realism do? Basically, as I said, more than 5 lakh colors, uh, design software integration. So these softwares are integrated. We have the software that comes with the machine is GraphCAD and it is integrated with KeyShot. So KeyShot is one of the software which designers use. It is also integrated with SolidWorks, and you can directly import your 3MF file from KeyShot and then process it and print it. So GraphCAD software that comes along with the printer does not need an STL file. It will accept an STL file, but it is not mandatory to have an STL file. So we can import your files in your native CAD data and use it. Texture realism from matte to glossy surface finish or materials like leather, wood, stone, everything is printed. The table, what you're seeing there, has got leather texture at the center, marble texture on the right hand side, and a different texture altogether on the left hand side. So all the 3 textures printed simultaneously without change in material. And you can print all those things. That is what the textures from KeyShot can be directly printed. Pantone validated. I have already told earlier that this is capable of printing in Pantone colors, and more than 1,900 Pantone colors and skin tones are directly printed without any issues. So basically, let's look at some of the case studies, how and where the process matters. So I'm just going to run a small video which shows the capability of this printers and the output from this printers that is being seen. So here's the video for you. Okay, and yeah, I think here it goes.
Kinetic Vision is an R&D consulting firm that's focused on developing and integrating advanced technology to drive innovation.
There are sales and marketing going on every day on shelf at retail through packaging. And that packaging has to impact that specific consumer personally.
When you're developing a product around packaging, it's critical that the end decision maker can hold the final product in their hands.
And that's where the J55 comes in, is that we can adapt to consumers faster and at a higher level than we've ever been able to do it before.
By being able to have 3D printers available to our Kinetic Vision design team, we're able to shorten that design cycle.
It's incredible, the impact of the J55 on our process. What we typically do is, really amazing images or graphics, and we put that up on the wall, and then we let the consumers or the clients view it. However, with the J55, we can actually get there in just a few days to a place that is on the edge of reality, which is something we've never been able to do before. We actually have coined the term retail-ready prints to where it looks like it should be on shelf, and where in almost the same amount of time we were only going to here. I mean, which one would you want to show, right? So for this particular concept, we were doing a design sprint. We wanted to see what would actually happen if we added the J55 to that process. And so we decided to do a retail drink. And so we developed a brand, we developed graphics, we developed structure, and we did all of that within a 2-week period.
Not only are the graphics intricate and colorful, but we're playing with opaque materials, we're playing with transparent materials, which is one of the reasons why we are leveraging the J55 printer, because we can take advantage of all of its unique features to really make those ideas come to life.
So we have alternate lids that we've created. You can see that actually intertwines, it works. There's actually liquid printed in this, so you're actually seeing the color that's actually inside, that the passion tea would actually be colored. So it's printing completely transparent and colored transparent colors at the same time, as well as opaques. So if we are showing this to a client, we can give them every detail of the product itself, which is absolutely incredible.
Being able to leverage PolyJet technology, the J55, we're able to jump past some of those firms that are not adopting that technology.
We sent this to a customer, and they called us and said, hey, where can we actually buy this product because it looks amazing? We said, no, that product doesn't even exist. That's just a product we created. And they were stunned because of the J55 print. They thought it was actually real.
We give our customers a competitive edge. They're able to take their product to market faster, develop better products, be the best on shelf.
To be able to hand this to a client and to watch their eyes light up, their mouth open up and say, oh my goodness, how did you do this? How long did this take? That's their responses. It's amazing. And so the impact for them is incredible. And obviously all of that reflects back on us.
So that was the J series printer used by Kinetic. So you can see the type of things they were doing. As I said earlier, people were using 3D printers with single color, but then the J55 or the J series output was much, much, much better than what they were using with the single color, and we saw the difference. So it was, they were able to print all those textures, graphics, clear material, even the tea which they had inside it, even that color was printed with the lids and all those threadings, everything got printed. So that is something very important with the J series, and the capability of for a designer to use this printer so that he can share his ideas with the stakeholders. So going ahead, let's check few of the case studies where people are using the J series printers. Now I've tried to cover the case studies in on all segments, be it commercial and automotive, and even one slide on the medical. We have tried to cover as much as possible. But yes, the printers are used all across. So being a mixed audience today, we have just tried to cover as much as possible, considering the limited time that we have. So here's a case study from Aeroflex. So if you see this, they went from digital design.
Sorry to interrupt, Ravi sir. Sir,
Yeah.
can you just share your screen because we are not able to see the screen?
Oh, sorry, able to see it now?
Yes, sir. If you have tried to show the another slide before that, if you have missed it, or this is the only slide after the video if you are running.
Okay, this was the slide, correct?
Yes, right, sir.
And this was the slide.
Okay, sir. So we have not missed any. Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay, fine. But you were able to hear.
Yes, sir. We were able to hear, but now we are able to see the slide as well.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, basically, case study from Aeroflex. where the customer is gone from digital design to CMF model in one day. Just one day, he had a digital design and then he just printed out the model, a CMF model. So color, material, and fabric. That is what we talk about CMF model. So that then the stakeholders could really visualize how the component is going to look like. Clear material allowed the visual layers and internal chambers to be shown in 3D model, 3D printed model. So if you look at the printed model on the right hand side, you can see inside that. So that is because they use the clear, transparent material. Pantone color validation ensured exact brand match brand colors, and the resolutions of J55, that is the 14 microns and 27 microns, were able to capture all the finer details. So whatever you are seeing on the screen, even the name Aeroflex written and the capacity of the bottle, that is 266 ml or some ounce, everything is printed in that. So this, because of the 14 micron slice, we are able to capture all these finer details. Here's another case study. This is from a perfume bottle manufacturers. So if you look at this bottle, the entire bottle is printed out. So you see the square block that is printed out, the inside bottle also you can see that is printed out, the tube that is also printed out with those inside butterflies. You see those small butterflies, that is also printed out. So everything printed out in one single print. Another best part about these machines, these are unmanned machines. You don't need somebody standing in front of them to run those machines. You do your designs just before going home, give your print command. Next day morning, you can have those parts, wash away the support, and then you can take it. So washing away the support is also very easy task. Typically, to wash away a support, it takes hardly 5 to 10 minutes. And then depending upon your requirement, you can polish it or finish it, or the part is still good to go without even doing those. So this is basically the capability of the J series printers. Another example, this was already shown earlier, is an earbud example. From concept to the final product, everything done. So otherwise, this would have been a multi-step traditional process. First, you do your concept model, outsource it, take it, do your brainstorming, and then do it. But here, the designer has done everything, and then one full set was taken up and then given to the stakeholders for decision making. So roughly 80% cost saving, 8 days was the traditional time required to do all those models, which were just completed in 3.5 hours. So that's the time saving what we are talking about. Now here's another case study from Capture. Now Capture is a very big name, in all equipments with the pressure, air, and all those things. So pumps for water flow and all those things. So Capture is a big name. So when they wanted to come up with a new model, the traditional practice was design a new model, make an injection molding mold, and then have those components molded and then use it. But before that, they wanted to look at how exactly the design will look and feel in the hand with all those colors, because Karcher typically uses an yellow color, and that yellow is dedicated for Karcher. If you look at any of those products, that yellow is something different. So they wanted to print those components and see how exactly it will look before they go into investment. And then they use the J series printer to print the entire part with that colors, dedicated colors, what they have, so that they can see how a real product is going to look like. Another case study is from Leica. Now this is basically a movie. This is an animation for a movie. So when you do an animated movie, you have to sketch multiple drawings, images, and then you have to give them different, you can say, expressions. So in this case, what they did is they literally printed out 50,000 different expression faces, and then those faces were used in making the entire animated movie. And that is how they have used the additive manufacturing strategies 3D printers. As I said, I have put one slide on the medical side of it. So doctors are using our technology. We use our machines to print out organs. Now, when I say print out organs, these organs are not to be used or not implantable, but doctors can print these organs and then have it on their table and see where exactly the problem is, how to operate on that organ, which is the easiest way to cut that organ so that the minimum damage is there, and then remove a malignancy or an anatomy or remove any disease which is there. So they use this as a teaching model or as a pre-surgical planning models. That is how the doctors use it. So here's an image of a liver. You can see it's printed in a transparent material with all the veins and anatomies inside it, so the doctor can see where exactly the problem is. Now, here's an example from an automotive industry. In this case, the customer wanted the interior of a car as a marble. So he wanted an entire marble finish inside. So naturally, we cannot fix a marble inside a car. It is going to be very difficult. So what was done is they just printed out everything inside the car in a marble texture. So you can see on the right hand side, all those textures are printed out using the J series printers from Stratasys. You can you can print out your marble textures absolutely without any issues. Here you can see the mobile stand, even everything that is printed out at the side of it, it's in marble texture. So Itala Design had this customer's request and they were able to fulfill it without having any issues regarding the cost or the time duration for doing it. They did it very easily and at a much more affordable price. Another automotive example is from one of the key car key manufacturers. So here's a new car key that he wanted to provide to his customer. So what he did is he designed the car key and he just printed it. So you're looking at the photo that you're looking is a printed out car key. Now, when I say printed out, even the J850 written on that image, the car is blocked. That is also written. Small other images are there. Everything has been printed out. So there was a huge saving when they did these things. They have literally saved heavily on the cost and time. So from 9 days, which was the traditional time required to do this car key, if they had to outsource it, they were able to do it in just 4 hours and then to remove the support and finish it. So and then they gave it to their customer and say, this is the new car key which we would like to give you so that you can give it all to along with your cars. And that is how they were able to close the deal. Audi also uses our technology, our printers. So when they were planning to launch a new vehicle and tail lamps when designed, so they just wanted to see how a new tail lamp will look onto the vehicle. So they just printed the tail lamps in a clear material and they use it. So wherever transparency was there, they used clear material. Wherever they wanted colored, they used the vivid material from Success. So we had cyan, magenta, yellow in vivid colors, so which were very much highly transparent materials and are very good for tail lamps and indicators. Another example from automotive is from Mini. So now Mini has come up with a customization model. So what we are seeing on the screen below, the side scuttles, those are printed out. Those are not actually molded parts. So a designer, a customer goes to Mini and says, okay, this is the type of side scuttle he wants. They just print it, put it into the glass casing on that, and then there you go. You have a customized vehicle indicators of your car. So all those things are easily customized using this printer. So you can have your name or you can have your image, anything can be done. Customize it, put it onto your vehicle, and then just try out of the showroom. It's as easy as that. So that is how Mini is working on that. And as I said, customization, because that is where all the industries are going on. So now in future, very soon you will see a lot of people coming up with customization of models. So it could be automotive or machinery, everything will be customized as per the requirement. So if you are looking on the J series on the automotive side, literally you can print everything that is inside the vehicle, and then you can take your vehicle out for a test drive. You can see it, feel it, you can push the buttons, turns and off. Literally, you can experience everything with whatever the J series the capability. You can literally do the entire interiors of your vehicles. So that is the advantage about J series printers. So just give you a brief idea about the printers that we are talking about. So we have typically the J series are into split into three printers. So one is the J850 and 835. So it can print slightly a bigger printer. It can print components about 500 mm or a 350 mm components. It comes with the GraphCAD print software. It has got capacity to load 7 different materials. So there is no changeover of material required. So you can directly use it. The next one, if you are having space constraints, then is the J826 printer, slightly smaller version of the earlier one, and even this can have 7 different materials. It can also print in all the colors. Only the build size in this case is slightly less. It is around 255 by 252 by 200 mm. So slightly less on the build size, but all the features are perfectly the same. And the next one that has been recently last year launched is the J55. So a very office friendly printer. You can easily fit it into your office, and then this printer can work in, or it can literally give you amazing outputs. So it has got a circular build tray, and the footprint of the printer is very small. It can literally fit in your office. It will work with 5 different type of materials that can be loaded simultaneously. A very silent printer. Absolutely, we can have this printer and we can still go ahead and have a webinar without a disturbance. Plus, it comes with a small equipment that is an odor-free equipment, so that there is no smell of resin. Absolutely a beauty when we are talking about a small footprint size in an office. So just on a broader scale, if we compare all the three, typically the J55, J826, 30, J835, and J850. 835 and 850 are typically the same size printers, only with a slightly smaller build volume. Different materials that go into it, all are Pantone validated, all can do transparent parts, all can do tray parts, all can do flexible parts, and all can do Pantone color shade for you. Except for the J55, which cannot do, will not do the digital ABS. That's another material. It will literally mimic the properties of ABS. So except for that, rest everything it can do, except only for the small build size. So the materials that go along with us, we have different materials. We have the Vero materials, which are rigid. We have Agilis family materials, which are flexible and also color. Clear materials and ultra clear materials for transparency. Draft gray is a low cost material, so that you can print your concept models without wasting your time, without wasting more money. Vivid colors, where you talk about high end models, so that you can print them. You can give an absolute textures, and digital ABS, as I said earlier, material which mimics ABS material properties. So you can literally do all these things with the machines that I just showcased to you. So with those materials, you can do texture simulation, you can do straw-like simulation, leather, fabric, jean, whatever you imagine, you can simulate everything. So what you're seeing on the screen, everything can be printed out. And by the way, all that you're seeing is printed out. So you can use those materials and give those textures using KeyShot or SolidWorks if you're able to do it in that, and then just go ahead and print. So imagine that what you can do with these printers is this will help you to dream it and print it. So whatever you dream it, you will be able to print. So I'm just going to run a last video which helps you understand what exactly it can do, just a summarization of all that I have showed in the webinar today. So here's a video for that. Just a minute. I'm just going to run it. Sorry, it did not run. Um, that was all about his presentation. So with that, I end my presentation. So I think if you have anything, we can discuss it, or if there's any question answers, we can take it from here onwards.
Thank you, Ravi sir. As always, very nice presentation, and the videos were very nice, sir. So, if you have anybody have any questions, you can either raise your hand, or you can type your queries or questions in the chat box window. Ravi sir, as of now, there are no questions. So we'll wait, say, for another half a minute. If anybody has
Sure,
any
sure.
questions. There is
Yes.
also an option to raise your hands, everyone. If you have any queries, you can also raise your hand. I can unmute you and you can directly ask to Ravi sir.
We can do that. Also, another option is that in case if you want to write up or send us a mail regarding your queries, you are most welcome to do it. We would be glad to reply to all your queries. In case if you have that, even that option is open.
Right, sir, right, sir. And also, I would like to tell you that everyone that I will be also sharing the recording and the PPT on your email ID, maybe today evening or tomorrow. So, of after receiving that, also, if you want, you can revert us with your questions. I think, sir,
Yes.
we'll wait for some
Yeah. So
time.
we'll just wait for a minute. If there's,
Yes, sir.
I think we have still have time, so that's the reason.
Yes, yes, we have time, sir.
Yes.
So, anyone, any question, any queries? Yeah. So sir, we have received an appreciation that thank you very much. It was very wonderful explanation.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Uh,
Thank you very much.
yes, sir. So the questions have started. So thank you, Mr. Padmanabha, for the appreciation of for this presentation. Yeah. So moving on to questions, sir. We have one question from Mr. Manpreet. He's asking, how do we get golden color?
Okay. So if you're looking at golden metallic or if you're looking at plain golden, so golden metallic is something that will be different color. But if you're looking at golden, we can go towards we can try to go very much towards the metallic side of it, but we won't be able to get a metallic color. So golden would be yellow, and we can try to push it towards the golden one. But as I said, no metallics. We can have rather than metallics, we can have all the other colors. Okay, so no golden color, no silver color, or you can say no metallic green or metallic gray, because those colors have a different tinge. So we can go towards them, but we won't be able to replicate metallic colors. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Mohan sir, you wanted to have Ravi sir's email ID. I will share you on your email ID, Ravi sir's email ID. Yes. Yeah. So another appreciation from Mr. Satish. Thank you for the webinar. Learned lot of new concepts today. Yeah. Thank you, Satish sir.
Thank you.
Mm, Anything else if anybody would like to add? Anybody, any questions, any queries? Uh, Yeah, sir. We have one question from Mr. Mohan. Have you printed using Ultem 9480?
Mhm. Okay, Altem is basically a material which is used in FDM technology. Polyjet technology does not use Altem as a material. So FDM is a totally different technology where you can print high-end thermoplastics, and Altem is a thermoplastics developed by SABIC. So Stratasys printers use it, and typically the number for Altem what we use is 9085 and Altem 1010, but not in Polyjet. So this technology we cannot do it. If you are interested in Alten, definitely yes, we do it in our FDM. Today I have not covered FDM, but I can cover it for you if you have your requirement. Absolutely no issues.
Right. So Ravi sir, I think I can unmute Mr. Mohan so that because he's asking a few queries, so it's better I will unmute him so that he if he has any more doubts he can clear it out, sir.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
Yeah. So Mr. Mohan, I have unmuted you. You can just unmute yourself, and if you have any more queries, you can please go ahead. Yeah, as of now, you're self-muted, Mr. Mohan. You can just unmute yourself. Yes, Mr. Mohan. He was trying to, yes, trying to unmute, but again, there we got muted. Mm, Okay, no problem. Any which ways, I will be sharing Ravi sir your email ID to Mr. Mohan, so we can take it offline as
Yes,
well if we have any
yes, yes,
queries. Yeah.
yes, yes. Definitely, definitely we'll do it. No problem.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
Mr.
it's
Reddy has mentioned a wonderful session. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Reddy, for the appreciation and you liked for this. Yeah. So we have one question from Mr. Sanjay Viveri that any curing is required post printing.
Sanjay sir, good evening. As you are aware, we don't have any curing or anything. So, but when we talk about post processing, it is entirely dependent upon what type of post processing we are talking about. So, let's say we talk about painting. If we are going to do a painting, then of course your part needs to be dried up. If you are talking about any other different type of post processing, so whatever requirement of that post processing is there, that is required. But as far as the parts are concerned, there is no post processing required. So you print your parts, you clear your support material, then you either use it then directly or you can use it in a polish. Okay, in some cases, people who want to have a very more transparent part, then they try sometimes to do an UV curing. That is called ultraviolet curing to get more transparency if that is the requirement. Else, no, nothing much apart from that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Uh, yes, sir. I think there are no more questions. We are good to conclude.
Yes.
So once again, thank you everyone. Thank you for showing this interest in attend this in webinar. So as I said during the start of the webinar, I will share the webinar presentation and the PPT on your email ID. So thank you everyone. Thank you Ravi sir for your presentation. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you.